my name's Nietzsche, and I'm going to talk to you today about some misconceptions about chakras and crystals. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate a wee bit here as well, but I'm going to be a bit mischievous here as well. And I'm going to challenge a few of the norms. So what we normally assume with crystals is that they come in the chakra packs. So it's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, all the way up into the higher chakras. And we always assume that there's a certain crystal that matches a certain chakra. But that's not always the case now. When I work with people, I find that different chakras and different crystals work with different chakras, and they're not straight out of the box. So I work with a 9-pack. I started working with a 9-pack of crystals rather than 7. I bought a 7-pack and it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel enough. And this was many, many years ago. And so I bought 2 more, higher and lower, to balance it out a bit more. And this is the secret to it, is work intuitively. The days of following the books are gone. The days of someone else having your answers is gone. Now, what are you doing? Get off of my thing. Now it's time to follow your instincts when you work with chakras or when you work with crystals. Now, crystals actually have personalities. They're just like, crystals have personalities, and every single one is different. So, for example, I have a crystal, and you'd expect it would be working in the higher chakras, in the higher areas of the person. It doesn't. It likes to work in the lower areas because it grounds that higher energy down. Or I might work with malachite, and it might work further down because it's bringing abundance or a flow, of abundance to that area. Not necessarily money, but it might help with balancing a certain chakra. And when I do work with my set, they like to move around. They move to different areas. Sometimes I'll bring in other chakras. Sometimes I'll bring in other crystals. So blue lace agate, it doesn't necessarily want to work with the throat. It might want to work somewhere else. It might want to help us learn to communicate or learn to hear the talk in a certain chakra or in a certain area of our bodies. Or amethyst, that doesn't necessarily work with the higher chakras or with the third eye. That can help us work intuitively from another area. That can help us hear what we need to hear from that area, from that chakra. And remember, we've got chakras all over the body. But what I'm finding more recently is, so remember that the crystals now have personalities. So a red one doesn't necessarily go down in the lower chakras. A pink one doesn't necessarily go in the heart. I have crystals, and some of them like to work, some of them like to rest, some of them like to play, some of them like to be in nature, some of them like to be in shelter, some of them like to be in daylight or in the sun. I have 2 crystals, and they like working together. They're like 2 little children. They're very mischievous, but they work really well together. They bring a lot of joy, a lot of abundance, a lot of prosperity, a lot of inner child healing when they work together. And another thing that I would like you to note is that the crystals, sometimes they don't like being in these bags. You get the organza see-through bags, and you get the silk effect ones, and you get the velvety ones. This is a bit like putting yourself in a black bag. Sometimes crystals don't like being in these black bags. They can't breathe, they can't see, they can't feel so much. It's like putting a hood over them. My crystals, a lot of them like being in these bags. If they're travelling, they like being in these bags so they can see what's going on. Some of them like to be wrapped up in delicate scarves. So how do I know all this? Well, I listen intuitively. I listen to what they're telling me. They're just like little beings or big beings. Because as the planet evolves and as we evolve, we're actually hearing, feeling intuitively what they're actually telling us. So just use your instincts. And like I say, when I work with my sets, or sometimes I don't work with sets, I actually own and run a wellbeing centre, and it has a crystal section, it has a gift shop. And when a client comes into me for healing, crystal healing or chakra balancing, I'll inevitably go around the crystal section and I'll just start picking things up. And I can tell by which one that I've picked up, which I'm guided to, or which the client is guided to, that is the healing that they need. Now, it doesn't actually mean that in a certain order they need to be healed chakra by chakra or crystal by crystal. It's an intuitive process. And I always tell people when they come into the centre, when they come to the gift shop, just follow your gut. A lot of them come in and they say, oh, but the book says this and the book says that, and this is what's wrong with me and this is what I need. But when you start to ask underneath, well, why do you feel that way? And why do you think this is the problem? And where did you get this information from? Inevitably, the book says this and the book says that. But what happens if this book says one thing and this book says something different? What do you do then? Where do you get your information from? Where do you get your information from? Again, we come back to the point, trust your gut. Okay? There's much more to crystals, much deeper, much wider, much more expansive, much greater healing abilities than the books tell us. And every single time, I wouldn't even say 9 times out of 10, but 99% of the time, when I ask a client, when a client comes into me saying the book says I need this, when I start asking them what seems to be the problem and why do you feel you need this one, once I start asking questions and understanding what's going on, they'll pick a crystal based on intuition, and it's always right. They always pick the right one on their gut because they connect with it. I say feel your way to the right crystal. Listen to what feels good for you. Forget about the book. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be using books. They're very, very helpful. What I'm saying is listen to your instincts. Listen to that connection that you have with the crystals. Listen to what feels right for you. So again, what happens when you have 2 books? What always happens is we decide intuitively which book we're going to listen to, or intuitively what feels right. So why are we still listening to the books? This is still part of the programming, and we need to get past that and listen to our instincts. Listen to what feels right. Sometimes I wouldn't even need half of these, and I can put these ones in. This goes the same for, you can have pieces of wood because they have ancestry, or you could have stones because they have a history, they have an energy inside them. You can work with whatever you're working with. You can work with whatever feels right, but the most important thing is to trust what feels instinctively right to you. And I will guarantee you'll get it right every time, because that's what you'll be needing and that's what you'll be looking for. So this is the basics of crystals, and this is the basics of your chakras, and this is the basics of your balance in your life. Trust your gut. Listen to what feels right for you and forget the books. The books have been programmed. The books have been put there to tell us what is right and what is wrong. There is no right and wrong. Every single person is individual. Every single person is unique, and listen to what feels right for you. The books can guide you, but when you're faced with 2 books, instinctively we choose one. So why do we use the book in the first place when we should be using our instincts? So trust the process, trust yourself, and let the crystals work with you. I have crystals called Victor. I have crystals who channel with me. I have crystals who come with me wherever I go, wherever I am in the world. I have crystals that amplify the energies I'm working with. I have crystals that nurture all the other energies that we're working with. So please, take a bit of time to listen to what's good for you. Yes, follow some advice from the books. But if it doesn't resonate with you, don't follow it. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.